Mugisha Muntu, one of the presidential contender, came out to reveal that he is not going to petition the presidential election. And to me, I think it was a mistake. Okay? Because I keep on telling people that however much we don't believe entirely in the judicial system, but if it avails a platform to make your case, we must please use each and every platform that comes our way. It's like elections. I normally tell people not to boycott election, however much tense they are. We must, because they provide a platform to showcase our case. Mugisha Muntu said these statements. Listen to it very carefully because it's going to form a basis of our discussion. Here's the tape.
At least the weakness that we have on our side as a last for national transformation in terms of proof is not having therefore a critical factor. We were not that organized to a point where we would have agents on 50,000+ polling stations. We didn't. When you have DRA forms and also reports direct, even where agents were thrown off the polling stations. In that case, when you have agents who are well trained, they write a report.
So, first of all, presidential contender Mugisha Muntu is coming out to say that one of the reasons as to why he's not going to court is because he doesn't have DRA forms from 50+ polling stations. Remember, the entire country had more than 50,000 polling stations. And I think that is where our lawyers go wrong whenever they go in court to petition the election. They normally put in reasons at the end. Mugisha Muntu complaining that he doesn't have DRA forms is complaining about the end of the election process. Elections is not the entirety of casting your vote at the last day. Election is a process. It is the truth. In fact, Mugisha Muntu has a caliber to petition court and go against the process which held these elections, including changing the voter register, including changing the dates of elections when the remaining a few days. For him to come out and say that they don't have DRA forms is like as if he's saying the process was good. You can petition the presidential election basing on the process. The reason as to why the Kenyan election was nullified, it was not because they didn't have DRA forms. It was because some of the election materials, like DRA forms, were not paginated. The elections in Kenya was nullified on the basis of the process, not the DRA forms, the process that led to that election. In fact, I keep on telling people, I looked at the petitions of the previous petitions, and where they failed is they normally petition the presidential elections basing on the results or basing on the vote that was cast on that last day, not knowing that election is a process. For example, Mugisha Muntu can petition court not basing on his election, but basing on the election of other presidential candidates. Every Ugandan can petition court. But the reasons why I'm hell-bent on people like Mugisha Muntu and others, including my party NUP, is because when the judge looks at the caliber of Mugisha Muntu or other presidential contenders, he can have an ear more than when he listens to me. The presidential election petition must be based on the process. To what extent should the army be involved in the politics? The army was so much involved, even if it is not your election. Personally, I can petition court to say that there was a lot of army in the election. Some presidential candidates were guarded, some presidential candidates were blocked from campaigning in some places where others were allowed. Case in example, in Masaka, Bobi Wine was prevented from campaigning in a certain part of the pitch. Museveni went there and campaigned. Bobi Wine was prevented from campaigning in the city center. Okay? Yet Museveni was campaigning in the city center. You can petition court, not even basing on your election, basing on the process. Mugisha Muntu coming out to say that he doesn't have the DRA forms is petitioning court on the last vote casting day. Let's continue with Mugisha Muntu.
basis of that, then you create a body of credible evidence that enables you to proceed. Now, we don't have that, unfortunately. So when we talk about building capabilities, that's basically what we mean. We have to continue going down and keep building so that at some point down the road, we are able to field agents well-trained and also who are resilient, because there are a lot of things which happen down there, intimidation, bribery, and all that. We have to build that. It's not easy. The reality of the matter is that we are dealing with a regime which wants someone to power at any cost. They don't care about the country. There's no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that in my mind. So when we meet next, we will have to look at the reality of the situation. We never operate out of frustration or out of a state of hopelessness. Everything we do is out of strategic consideration, and we have to look at the facts that there are, the problems on the other side, also the weaknesses on our own side.
Is there
So, MUGISHA MUNTU is also coming out to give serpent issues like bribery, voter intimidation. He has a case to make. I will feel bad if people with a name, like my President Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu, MUGISHA MUNTU, the credible opposition, don't go to court to petition the presidential election. Because fighting, each platform that is brought henceforth must be used. Missing out on the court proceedings. And by the way, even when Udolo is retired as a judge, I may not believe entirely in the judicial system, but I believe that a battle taken on the floor of the judiciary can have some fruits. For example, in the last presidential petition, we were able to see through the failed justice system where Esther Chisase, people grabbed their file. If it wasn't for the presidential petition, we wouldn't have known that. Even that, the small achievements were achieved, at least were shown on camera. So for me, I think running away from the presidential petition is one of the bad decisions to be made by presidential candidates. And secondly, presidential candidates should learn to petition the presidential election on that process. Because, for example, even the videos that circulate on social media, if you go to court and tell them this is how they stuffed votes, they will tell you that even if those votes on the entire polling station are given to you, still you will not make it to 50+1. Because General Museveni rigged elections to get 71%. But at least if you petition the process, like voter intimidation, like the military beating up people, like forceful disappearance, they're like internet removal, etc., they can, like the voters register, which is not, which was not compatible. At least we can have some grounds. I'm saying this not that I believe in the judicial system, but it is a platform that can be used to further the struggle. Of course, that's my opinion. Remain yours truly, Mr. Makindi, Sulaiman Mawagoli. If you're not to this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.